This is yet another entry in the new Blumhouse anthology film series that is now being pushed and promoted on Prime Video. Today, I'm going to be talking about Nocturne, which is a new psychological horror-ish type of movie that stars Sydney Sweeney and it stars Madison Iseman. It's directed by Zoo Quirk. The story for this anthology film is that there is a young musician played by Sydney Sweeney who is attending this prestigious music school along with her sister played by Madison Iseman. One day, Sydney Sweeney's character discovers a mysterious notebook that belongs to a deceased classmate, and strange things begin happening, not just around her, but also with her drive and with her passion to be one of the best, and it turns into this very intense rivalry with her sister that threatens to destroy everything about her, and that is essentially the story that we have here. I'm going to say something that's going to sound like a buzzword, and a lot of people are going to get pissed off by it. Some people are going to be intrigued by it. The word here is art house. I know. As soon as I say the word art house, a lot of you roll your eyes. A lot of you like, I'm not interested in art house horror. That's not my thing. Some of you just turned off the video immediately because you lost interest. If you did turn off the video and you went somewhere else, why would you leave me, dude? This film does have some art house horror elements in it, definitely, when you look at some of the imagery and some of the pacing and the direction of the film. I wouldn't exclusively call it an art house horror movie. It has elements of that, but it's really more of a psychological character study or more of a psychological drama, if anything. But being that it is a little bit art house, I feel like I should take a second to acknowledge the terrific filmmaking that's on display. This is an extremely well shot and well edited film. There is great cinematography on display here. There's excellent use of lighting, and what I really like about the cinematography is the emphasis and the framing of the shots surrounding eyes and close-ups. It also does a great job at highlighting objects like suns or peripheral lights, and it also does a good job at shining a light on the architecture in the film, which also leads to some pretty good-looking set design, and that's something I did want to point out right at the get-go. Really, this film is about the performances of the two sisters in this film, played by Sydney Sweeney and Madison Iseman. Both of them killed it. Both of them, I thought, gave really great performances. I had to make a note before this video started to not engage in any Sydney Sweeney thirst. I mean, she doesn't look it in this film, but that is a woman right there. No thirst. I'm not gonna talk about how fine she is. This is not what this is about. It's not what this video is about at all.
I am not focusing on thirst here, okay? I'm acknowledging a great picture. Why can't you get off my back?
The more I thought about her performance, the more I kind of warmed up to it. Her character has this kind of simmering rage to her underneath, this drive and this passion, this desire to be great. Not just being great for herself, but also being greater than her sister. And definitely you can sense that underneath the surface of this quiet, shy girl. There is something that is threatening to break out, and you definitely see that play out over the course of the film. In that sense, I think that she played this character about as well as she could. The most entertaining part of this movie is the ongoing rivalry between these two sisters. Over the course of this film, this definitely becomes kind of a psychological battle of wills and a back and forth. It does ask some deeper questions about the human psyche as it relates to competition. The film, I think, does have something pretty interesting to say about that inner drive, that hunger, that passion, that thirst for being great, and the self-destructive behavior that sometimes we engage in order to get to what we want, in order to prove yourself or prove at least that you're better than someone else. The crazy things that you'll do, the insane things that you'll do, the way that you'll push yourself. This film does have a lot to say about greatness and the way that it affects the human condition. The score itself I thought was pretty good. That's not really saying much though, because it's a music movie and you would expect the music to be good use of piano, good use of violins, all that stuff. Like going into Jersey Mike's and expecting that the sandwiches are going to be pretty good. I mean, yeah, that's what you went into the damn store for, right? It actually is a pretty good comment section question though. Like, if you guys have ever gone, tell me if you've gone to a sandwich place that was known for its sandwiches, but then the sandwiches were kind of meh, and like the worst thing about the place. Like, let me know if you have a couple of places that remind you of that. While I really liked this film and the way it was helmed and the way that it looked and all of that stuff, I can't bring myself to fully embrace it and say that I loved it. I think for me that while the rivalry is definitely entertaining and you're on board with watching that, I think that it could have had a little bit more emotional heft behind it that really would have left some of the other parts in the film, especially towards the later stages of the movie, a little bit more engaging for me. A lot of this rivalry, while it's fun to watch, does feel a little bit one-sided, a little bit slanted. I feel like there wasn't the proper balance given to both characters. Both characters weren't really fleshed out and developed the proper way, like an equal footing. Kind of like The Prestige with Christopher Nolan. I feel like in that film, they balanced both of the characters really well. In this film, they really only balance or try try to balance one of the characters. The other issue that I have that I think horror fans are gonna have an issue with is the lack of horror actually in the movie. There is some horrific imagery at times in this film, but it's not really a horror movie. I wish the film had leaned a little bit more into the horror elements. There's definitely something spooky and creepy going on with this book that Sydney Sweeney's character finds, but you're not really given as many answers about the horror elements in this film that you really wanted to. It feels like it's just horror stuff put into the movie for the sake of putting it in there. Also, some high school teenage angst type of stuff that went on in this movie as it relates to the subplots and some of the other characters that I really wasn't investing in. In fact, it's definitely the most eye-rolling and irritating and boring parts of the film. Regardless of all that, I really enjoyed Nocturne. I think it's one of the better Blumhouse films that they've come out with lately, and I'm going to put this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Answer that sandwich question in the comment section down below. I'm actually kind of curious to hear about your answers on this. Stay tuned for more reviews. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.